This is Ralph with 13 Peppers, and today I'm going to be stepping out of my comfort zone and make myself a homemade red enchilada sauce. Now I am going to be stepping out of my comfort zone like I said, but I'm still going to be playing in the realm of peppers. What I'm going to be doing is actually going to be using Mexican dried peppers today in the recipe. Now a couple of the peppers I'm going to use, the first one is going to be a dried ancho pepper, and this is actually a dried form of a poblano. So very nice, and poblanos are actually easy to come by, so you can do that too. The second pepper I'm going to be using today is a guajillo, and I think I pronounced that correctly. Guajillo.
Guajillo pepper.
Guajillo.
Guajillo pepper.
Guajillo.
Guajillo pepper.
Guajillo. Guajillo pepper, and this is actually a dried form of the mirror cell pepper. So very nice. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and cut these open. We're going to scrape out the seeds, and then we're going to get cooking on the stove here. So what I'm going to be doing with the peppers is I'm going to be cutting off the stems. Let me tell you, all right? And then I'm going to be emptying these of seeds. I'm going to cut these in half to make sure I can get all the seeds out. Open them up here. Kind of make a mess while you're doing it, but that's what needs to be done. Now, if you leave a couple seeds in here, it's not really that big of a deal, but you do want to get the majority of them out. We are going to cut up 5 of the ancho peppers, and we're also going to cut up 5 of the guajillo peppers. Once we have everything deseeded, we're going to go ahead, and I turned on my griddle here onto the stove, and I'm going to go ahead and place the peppers on here, and we just want to roast them on here for just about a minute or so until you start seeing them kind of soften and puff up. Now the nice thing is, especially with these ancho peppers, these things are getting soft as they're going on here, and I can also see the oil coming out. All that chili oil that's still in there. So very nice. I'm just going to flip these over, let these toast again on the other side, and then we'll take them off here. Once you have everything transferred over to a bowl, what you want to do is go ahead and cover them with warm water and let them soak for about 20 minutes. Now we just want to go ahead and just barely cover them up. Now once our peppers and everything are soaking, we're going to go ahead and prep the rest of our ingredients. Go ahead, I have a larger skillet here, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And with that, I have a chopped up, basically a medium chopped up onion, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in here, and we are going to saute this until they're translucent, roughly about 3 minutes or so. These are starting to saute and brown really good. I'm going to go ahead at this point and add in 4 cloves of chopped garlic, and I'm going to cook this in here just for roughly a minute to get the garlic nice and fragrant, and then we're going to go ahead and pull it off of the heat. Oh, this is smelling really good. These onions are browning and caramelizing here nicely. Not really trying to caramelize them, but it has that look, and the smell and everything of the garlic is wonderful. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and pull this off of the heat and let this cool down. Now, since we got everything cooled down, we're going to go ahead and add everything into our food processor here. So we're going to take the onions and the garlic and dump it in here. Then I'm going to take the peppers that we've been soaking here for just over 20 minutes and take them out of here. Trying to get some of the liquid off so I'm not going to make a big mess. We're going to transfer those into the blender. The smells at this particular point are wonderful. So we've gotten all the peppers out of here. We want to actually reserve the liquid because we may be using that for the peppers to go ahead and thin it out, because once we start blending this, it's going to be awfully thick at first. So I'm going to scrape down the sides. And this, at this particular point, is super, super thick. So we're definitely going to have to add some of this liquid. I do not know how much, so we're just going to do a little bit at a time. And I'm making an absolute mess. You're not trying unless you're making a mess. All right, this is still rather thick and chunky. So I'm going to add just a little bit more liquid to it, and then we're going to let this blend up for a good minute or so. Okay, I think this is the consistency I want. And double check here. Yeah, I think this is the thickness and everything else of this. So what I'm going to do here before I'm going to let this blend for even longer is I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Okay, and that is going to be the last ingredient. We're going to go ahead and continue to let this blend here for about a minute or so. All right, I think that we are done with the blending. Go ahead and move this off here. Oh, beautiful, beautiful looking sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of here. Okay. Now that we got the sauce and everything cooked here, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a taste. So this is actually the true way to actually make sure you like it. This has an interesting flavor. You get the smokiness of the ancho peppers and everything. You do get the pepper taste. There's really no heat or anything in this at all, but you do still get the pepper taste. The onions and the garlic and everything came out. This is actually really, really good. Now, the one thing that I will say is this is actually the 3rd time I've made this recipe, and typically how I make my recipes is I'll do it 2-3 times onto the stove, try to make sure I got my right ingredients, amounts, and everything like that, but there's still a little bit of variations inside here. This one, I will actually say, since this is my 3rd one and I've been able to test the other 2, this one is a little bit smokier than some of my last ones. And that could be just from the size of the ancho peppers. There's a bunch of different variations, but if it's too much smoky or it's not sweet enough, personally, I don't want this sauce to be sweet. But if it's not sweet enough and you taste it, go ahead and add a couple teaspoons of sugar into it. It's not going to hurt it. Add some honey if you want to. Kind of go ahead and adjust the flavor as you go. Taste it and kind of make it the way you want. So to me, and like I said, I did not want this one to be sweet, but this is exactly the way that I wanted it. Do yours the way that works good for you. Very, very easy enchilada sauce. You can go ahead and you can smother this over a burrito. You can have a layer of enchiladas, you can cover them up, or like me, I like my enchiladas dry. I can go ahead and just pick them up and dip them and eat them that way. So, but very, very easy and very, very customizable to what kind of flavors that you actually want. So with that, I want to say thank you all very much. If you enjoyed what you have seen here today, please subscribe to the channel. It does help me out greatly. You can also follow me on a bunch of my social medias, or you can actually head to my website down below. There I actually sell seeds out of my garden and a bunch of spices and seasonings that I've made there. So with that, I want to say thank you all very much, and you all have a very, very good day.